the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, topics, stipulations, first down, played it. Presenting topics from Kanye to Tom Brady. Facts, keys to the city, we're unlocking the statements.
Hey, and ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Keys to the City from All Noise Radio. What a show we got for you today. NBA playoffs. Wow, has it been great. Everybody's want to be talking about the negatives of the Boston Celtics. What the hell happened to them and my Los Angeles Lakers? My God. Remember when I said a couple weeks ago the Giants were the laughingstock of the NFL? The Los Angeles Lakers are the laughingstock of sports right now. Of the current sports world, my Los Angeles Lakers are the laughingstock. And we're going to talk some baseball with the fan favorite Joe Aguiar. The Yanks, big series against Tampa Bay, a fight for first place. And we're also going to give our top 5 teams currently in the MLB as well. But first, you wanted to start with the bad. I don't want to start with the bad.
Well, I said if
there's bad outside, the bad weather. More bad weather, that's the bad.
Listen,
let's start with the good.
Well,
let's start with the good.
I asked one of our guys from the CMG podcast, I said, would you want to hear good news or would you want to hear bad news first if you had the choice? And you're going to hear both of them either way.
Oh, you're definitely hearing good and you're hearing the bad.
But I'm going to go.
And you may even hear the ugly today.
The good, the
bad, and the ugly.
Isn't that a good movie?
I never seen it. Well, I guess we'd have to ask Dad. But let's start off with the good. Well, the NBA playoffs, all right, folks. Let's talk about that. We all want to talk about the negative currently happening in the NBA, but no. Think about this. In 2 days, we can have we're going to have 2, but we can have 3 Game 7s. When's the last time, Ted, that you've seen in any sport a Game 7? Maybe 2. How about 3? Have you ever seen 3 Game 7s before?
I guess you haven't watched the hockey playoffs, Trev. There was 2
I'm talking about
Game 7s in hockey playoffs the whole season. That's postseason.
But I'm talking about basketball. I'm talking about basketball.
First
talk about basketball.
Okay, first of all, there hasn't been. The hockey playoffs has been great throughout.
Yes.
And, you know, a buddy of mine sent an article to me, and he's like, the ratings are down. There's no villain in the NBA playoffs. There's no LeBron James. Something to really kind of stir the pot with regards to...
Well, he's stirring the pot, certainly.
But if you truly love it, NBA basketball, and I know a lot of people do not like NBA basketball because what it has become. But with that being said, the NBA playoffs has been great throughout. Now, the first round series, both in the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference playoffs, were not that great. But that was because there was such a disparity between the top seeds and the lower seeds, especially in the Eastern Conference. But we got exactly what we wanted in the Eastern Conference. We got the Boston Celtics versus the Milwaukee Bucks. We got the Sixers versus the Raptors, which all 4 teams we looked at from day one as top 4 seeds and dominant teams. The NBA playoffs has been great, but like to your point, we haven't seen Game 7s in the NBA playoffs that much. The last one I can really think of off the top of my head was the NBA Finals with Cleveland versus Golden State.
Sorry to No, you're right. Sorry to all the mothers, but Mother's Day is going to be quite possibly one of the most interesting Mother's Days in sports for us because of the fact that you're going to have a possible Golden State-Houston Game 7. You're having Toronto-Philly. And then you get the late one. You get Denver against Portland. And 3 games. I mean, they're all. That's the thing. It's a toss-up. And all the games are toss-ups.
And that's just with the NBA. Now, for us, the other subject, we'll have the Yankees on at 1 o'clock. There also is going to be hockey conference finals on.
Game 2.
With that being said, it's going to be a great sports weekend, especially to end it on Sunday on Mother's Day. To all the mothers out there, Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day as well.
So...
Of course, we have to say.
Of course, we have to.
There are mothers. I mean,
because like in the sense that I'll be coming back from a wedding. Mm-hmm. My buddy Timmy Q will be getting married tomorrow in Long Island in a castle, and so we'll be coming back Sunday late, and then I'll have to go to work. So I really won't be able to cherish the time with Mom on Mother's Day. But yeah, Trev, it's great because we say this all the time, and we joked the other day in the hockey postseason. There's nothing better than Game 7s, and I believe that with any sport. You don't get that with football because it's only a 1 game. Sometimes you wish you could get best out of 3 or something. And maybe every game in the postseason is a Game 7 in the NFL. You can call it that way. But with basketball and hockey, it just adds that much more drama. And then you look at these games. The Houston series versus Golden State. We had Game 7 last year, and Houston had a chance to win that series, and they did not. They're going to have another opportunity starting with tonight to win Game 6 at home court and take it back to Game 7 in Golden State. Sixers did what they needed to do last night in dominant fashion. They took care of business.
Both home teams took care of business.
And then last night, if I was a betting man, I would have took Portland to maintain
both
home.
Teams
and you
took care of
expect that because you expect that's the reason why the regular season is an important factor because, like you said, Trev, we have an opportunity to have 3 Game 7 Sunday afternoon.
So let me start with the first one. And let's be honest, folks. This was the biggest series. It was going to happen. Whether that would have been in the conference finals or it was going to be in the second round. It's happening in the second round. This was the biggest series going into the NBA playoffs. And I know everybody wants to talk about James Harden, the legacy of James Harden, the legacy of Chris Paul, Kevin Durant's injury, how that it could impact the Warriors' rest of their playoffs and the NBA postseason as a whole. And I think everybody is jumping too far on James Harden and going crazy about it. Yes, he needs to win. Chris Paul, yes, they need to win. But let's also talk about the Warriors and Steph Curry. I'm going to talk that it's more for Steph Curry than it is James Harden. But I would say it's more for the Rockets than it is the Warriors. Because we know what the Warriors are. But for Steph Curry, specifically, because you remember, the last time it was a Steph Curry-led team, they lost a 3-1 series, a 7-3-9 team. Lost to LeBron James. They lost. Then they got Kevin Durant. And the league has been there since. Steph Curry...
Yeah, sorry, they have dominated the whole time.
Steph Curry, we know how great this team has been. We know how great they were when Steph Curry was leading it. But he was never dominant. It was never like, oh, with Steph Curry, they're an easy shot to win. It's all on Steph, too, because he's had the burden of being that second guy for the past couple years. Whereas Durant has been the alpha. No matter what everybody wants to say, it is Steph Curry's team. They'll love Steph to death till the day he's gone. But Kevin Durant was the reason they always won championships and put him over the top. Now with KD gone, Steph Curry has to take that reins again. Everybody wants to say, oh, well, if they didn't have Kevin Durant last year, they probably would have lost to Houston. Well, guess what, people? KD's not coming back. It's going to be on the original Big Three as well. This Golden State team.
This is the team that won 73 games.
And that's what I'm talking about. Everybody's like, oh, this team's not going to win now because Kevin Durant. And we were talking to our guy, Brian, and he said, oh, this team's not going to win now without Durant. Do we not remember that they went 73-9? I mean, they hold the record for most wins in an NBA season. Before Kevin Durant. Yes, they didn't win that year, but they won 73 games.
The biggest difference with this team now is they don't have the depth that they had back in the day. When they had Leandro Barbosa, when they had, the Kid McGraw, when they had,
they still have they still have that big three. That started.
Well,
it was everything that started.
Here's the thing, though. Kevin Durant has done so much for this team.
Exactly.
He's been the best player in this postseason by far. He's leading all scorers right now with 34 points a game. Listen, his impact, as we know, and we've talked about it on multiple shows, he's kind of in his own way taking over the best player in the NBA slash badge, role, whatever you want to call it. Curry needs to play like he did 2 years ago in the MVP level. Klay Thompson needs to play like the second best shooter that we thought he was, an all-NBA player. He has to be a shutdown shooting guard, and he needs one of those games where he needs to go off and have 25 to 30 points. Draymond Green has to be a triple-double machine, and then the key role players have to play significant roles because, as Steve Kerr joked on his press conference, I'm just going to grab someone off the bench who's going to give me 34 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists.
Yes, the pressure is on Houston.
The pressure
is definitely on Houston, but there is pressure on Golden State because of the factor that the past 2 years, they've had Kevin Durant on their team. So it made everything easier for them to win games. Now he's not there. So the pressure's on them to continue that dominance that they have had over the past couple of years.
To your question, the more pressure is 100% on Houston and James Harden. But
obvious
But I
reasons.
understand where you're coming from, because what they're going to say is now, especially you got to look at this as a whole. And we've talked about this in a lot of times, and maybe not on air. But this playoffs has so much more impact, not just on this regular season, the postseason, but the future of the NBA. Because a lot of these big time names are still playing in this postseason, and they're going to change the
landscape of the NBA.
The landscape of the NBA. Where does Kevin Durant go, and what happens, and how does his future play out? Especially if the Warriors do not win the next 2 games, there's a possibility he never plays for the Warriors again. And then there are going to be questions: how good are the Warriors? Where will they be?
And they'll always say too as well.
Could they have not won without Kevin Durant?
They couldn't win without KD. It just shows that if they lose these next 2 games, it will just ultimately show that Kevin Durant saved them for those past couple years.
And then I'll finish off the point on the Warriors is, if they don't win and Kevin Durant leaves, I think the Warriors organization as a whole will understand that they're going to have to make some changes and maybe add some players to their lineup, because now everyone in the NBA is going to look at them and say, Trev, they're beatable now that they don't have what we didn't have. They don't have Kevin Durant. They don't have that guy, okay? So now they're beatable. Now it balances out the NBA. If they are able to win, they're more likely not going to win the championship. And then it puts them in perspective. Maybe they do keep Kevin Durant. You just don't know how that's going to play in factor. But this series all comes down to one guy, Trev, and one team. So all we've been talking about for the last 2 years, the Houston Rockets and Daryl Morey, and we're going to have Chris Paul, and he's going to be the difference maker, and that's going to make the difference for the Rockets. They're going to win the championship. We got an MVP player, might be the 2-time MVP winner. We're going to play with the statistics and the numbers and analytics, and we're going to shoot 1,000 threes, and we're going to play up and down, and we're going to get more shots, and that's how we're going to beat Golden State. And last year there was, all right, we didn't have Chris Paul.
There was the excuse that they didn't have Chris Paul. Well, guess what now? Now Kevin Durant's now. And you lose tonight.
And DeMarcus Cousins. Yes. I know he hasn't played, but he is not there, and Kevin Durant is not there.
Yes.
And there is no more excuses.
No.
There can't be no more what ifs. Because first of all, if you don't even make Game 7 Sunday, you're a disgrace. That team should be it should be a total
blown up and just change everything.
But I don't know how you do that, because no one's going to want Chris Paul's contract. And now it feels like the end is now.
Chris Broussard said it best.
In an Avengers movie, the end game is now.
Broussard said, nice, clever, very smart.
Well, here's the thing.
No, it's not. Chris Broussard just said it best before we came on. If this team doesn't win tonight or on Sunday, they will forever be known as a Phoenix Suns / Sacramento Kings team. The team that was so great, so talented, had all the makings of a championship team. They just couldn't get over the hump.
They're the what if team.
Exactly. That will be the nickname of this Houston Rocket team if they somehow do not win tonight or Sunday.
And you could say that about a lot of teams. The Atlanta Braves of the 90s, when they had all those great teams that couldn't find a way to win championships, or the Cleveland Indians. Always it was a what if. What if this didn't happen? What if that guy didn't hurt? What if he didn't play? Even you talk about in football, there's so many what ifs. How many teams are what ifs?
I mean, this has been...
But here's the thing. No more what ifs. You go out there, Houston, tonight. You dominate the home court. James Harden, play like the MVP.
It's very simple. Go do your job and get the job done.
Pressure. The biggest pressure, though, you said Curry. I think
it's Curry, and I think everybody wants to say it's Harden.
It has to be
we
Harden.
know it's Harden, but that's the obvious. That's what everybody wants you. Chris Paul and James Harden. Obviously, there is an immense amount of pressure on James Harden and Chris Paul.
Curry.
But I do believe it's
it's on Clay.
No, I do believe it's on Curry, because Curry has to be the alpha dog now.
I know that.
He has to be the alpha dog.
But I feel like Curry will still do his. It's going to be Draymond and Clay, because those are 2 guys, too, that want to get max deals, Trev.
No, I know that.
If they play poorly, right, it's going to be a reflection on them. Is Klay Thompson really that good? Or is he that good because he plays in Golden State? Is Draymond really that good, or is it a benefit that he plays for Golden State? Curry will be good in any system. But could Klay really be a number 2 on...
Yeah. Yes, he could.
I don't know.
Yes, he could.
He's got
Easily he could be.
He has not played well in this postseason. Has not performed.
Well, that's why. Well, Curry hasn't played that well as well either. I mean, he's struggling kind of at times, but then you got to finally see the old Golden State team when Kevin Durant went out. They played their style of play, and it worked. And we got to think about that as well. Houston should be up 3-2 right now. It's not like Kevin Durant got injured with about a minute left in the game, and they were up 8 already. They were only up 1 at the time, and they still had a whole nother period, a quarter to go. And they couldn't win. So for Houston to not be up 3-2 right now, it's kind of already like there's already issues going on. There's already a problem.
So I know the Braves won the World Series in '95. I know that. They beat the Cleveland Indians. Oh, not the Cleveland. No, they didn't. They beat, oh my God.
The Braves beat the Cleveland Indians?
No.
It was the Florida Marlins.
Marlins beat Cleveland.
So Florida Marlins. Braves, okay. The Braves.
I know they won a World Series, but that was a team.
Well, that's what happens when you become so irrelevant in baseball.
Or the Dallas, or the Dallas Cowboys. That's probably a better example. I know the Braves, but with the pitching staff that they had, my point was the pitching staff and the team that they had. You saw a team that should have won more championships that never did. They couldn't get over the hump.
No, I know. I mean, there's a game 6 tonight. That could all. I mean, if Houston comes in, does their job, and win by 10, 15, then game 7, boy, it's going to be intriguing on Sunday. The other 2 games are going to be just as great too, and they're toss-ups. We should just make our predictions right now because game 7.
Well, that I was going to ask you. Do you want to make the predictions for 6 and 7 now with the other games, or do you want to get into?
Look, you already know where I've been. I mean, I picked Golden State. I'm sticking with Golden State.
And you know where I'm going with because I got to stick true to the thing. I said the Warriors would not win the championship this year. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, I think if they're going to lose, it has to be this series. It's not going to be the next. So
do you have
series.
6? You have 7.
I have
Houston
7.
Going to 7.
I have Houston winning in 7.
I have Golden State going to 7 too.
And here's the thing: I had them losing with the team that they currently have. I mean, excuse me, that they had with Cousins and Durant. Listen, this is. I felt like this team, the Rockets, they should have won last year.
Okay.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? Mm-hmm. Do it, prove it, because if
now there's no excuse. Now there's no reason to complain. Kevin Durant is gone. He ain't coming back for the rest of the series.
What would be
if you lose this series this weekend? Tonight or Sunday, you have nothing and nobody to blame but yourselves. The next game, I just said this before the show, between Philly and Toronto. If I'm basing it off of history,
I don't know who you picked then.
I'm picking Philly.
I think you picked.
No, I'm picking Philly. I know it's different because Kawhi's there, DeRozan's not there. You have a different team. But this Philly team, man, is so talented. You just look at the starting 5. Embiid. Then you got Jimmy. Then you got Tobias. Then you got Simmons. You got JJ. That's the best starting 5 currently right now in the NBA. I know some people might think Golden State, but Kevin Durant is out and Boogie Cousins is gone too. This is the best constructed starting 5 currently in the NBA right now. There should be no excuse with them either. They're a more talented team.
The Sixers.
The Sixers are a more talented team than Toronto.
They're one of the most talented teams in the NBA.
Toronto has the best player in this series. And probably the best player in the East, if some people might want to say, even over Giannis.
Most complete.
Some people may say Giannis. Some people may say Kawhi.
That's a tough call. But I think Kawhi might be, though, still. Giannis still has a little bit more time.
This team has no excuse, no reason to lose on Sunday.
Who?
Philly.
No, because this is what Elton Brand, the GM,
it's like the Boston Celtics. Let's just say this. The Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers coming into these 2 game matchups,
if they both
were the more talented teams than Toronto and Milwaukee. I bet we can agree on that.
Absolutely. If you just look at the rosters, don't look at numbers. Just look at the rosters.
Just look at exactly.
As our high school coach used to me, Coach Sagnello used to say, like in a joking tournament of football, he goes, so Ted, he goes, if we lined up all the kids from West Haven and then we lined up all the kids from North Haven on the football roster and we were starting a kickball team or a flag football team, you'd probably pick 9 or 10 West Haven kids before you pick 1 North Haven kid. Exactly. And that's the way. When we look at the Sixers and we look at the Celtics, we would have probably taken 3 or 4 Celtics before we would have taken, other than Giannis, you might go Giannis and then 3 Celtics. Okay.
The same thing with Toronto. You take Kawhi, and then you'd probably take Embiid, Simmons, and Butler. Jimmy Butler, and maybe even Tobias Harris over Kyle Lowry or Siakam.
So, you probably would
pick those.
You would take the 4, and then you would go back to JJ Redick as maybe the 6th
if you're basing off of talent. you're probably picking Philadelphia for the first 5 players.
Absolutely. And this is why
And that's why I'm going with
And
them.
the Sixers need this.
And that's why I'm going with them, because it's kind of like the Celtics.
We've heard trust the process.
We don't know what's going to happen.
This has to be trust the team and the process of winning, because if you don't win, the 76ers.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
I know, but I was going to say this to the point as, and I think you were going to go with this, just like the Warriors, to build off of that, you have just like they're going to probably lose Cousins and Durant, you're probably going to lose Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris.
You don't know where your team's going to look like next year.
And I'm sorry, JJ Redick was only under a 1-year deal. So, yes, he probably will come back, but you don't know that for sure. Maybe
he wants to go somewhere else.
Maybe go somewhere else, depending on what happens. So, this is your golden opportunity, because you might not be in a position like you are now to be as dominant as you are, because it's really hard to have these 4 type of players together. And
if you're a Philly fan,
team.
especially knowing that with Boogie Cousins not coming back and Kevin Durant may not be 100% even if he comes back, this could be your opportunity to get into the Eastern Conference Finals, beat Milwaukee, and then get to the NBA Finals.
Because they would match up well against Milwaukee. And they don't have to play the Celtics.
I mean, we're thinking about you could possibly be, you win this series, you might be the favorite to win the championship.
Excuse me. Now,
I know it's not crazy, but I'm going Philly. I'm going to go Philly. Who do you got? Who you got in Game 7?
I was going to make my point to this. You have Embiid and Simmons. Those 2 guys have to play like the 2 best players.
I know, but they still have Kawhi Leonard.
I'll put it this way. Who do you think is their most key player for them to take it over the top? Is it Embiid, is it Simmons, is it Butler?
I would say, to me, Embiid, because if Embiid is dominant and Embiid is playing like himself, that we know he can, if he's going 35 and 16, that's going to be tough with Simmons playing well as well, that's going to be tough for Toronto to slow down.
See, my thing is a Jimmy Butler thing, because this is why you brought Jimmy Butler here. Jimmy Buckets, right? You looked for the leadership. You looked for that guy that says, okay, last minute of the game, give me the ball. I'm going to get you that bucket. That dominant force. That's why you brought Jimmy Butler here. This is what he has to do. We saw last night, Joel Embiid was 1 from 8 in the first half. He ended up finishing the game with 17 points, 12 rebounds,
he finished strong.
and 2 blocks. He finished strong. But the guy that carried this team to a 15-point lead in the first half was Jimmy Butler. He has to be the difference maker. That is the reason why the Sixers will win.
We're both on Philly.
And I'll put it this way. Hopefully we didn't jinx them. They also got to look at this. There's no Celtics in the next round.
Right.
That was their kryptonite.
All right, so let's go to the other Game 7. Portland, Denver. Denver's got the best home record this year, 34-7. Yeah. Second was the Portland.
Very underrated series. I know a lot of people don't watch this
because
game.
it's late at night, but Jokic has been a beast. Damian Lillard. This one's the toughest one for me to pick because I really like Portland. I love Damian Lillard. He's one of my favorite players in the game. He's so underappreciated in this game. Damian Lillard.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm listening to one of the comments that somebody said the Celtics roster is not even close to the Bucks.
Who said that? Was it Risser? Come on, Risser. Ask anybody. The Celtics had a better roster than the Bucks.
The roster without Kyrie.
You're just looking at Giannis and Chris Middleton. You say, there you go. They're better than all of them. Anyway, my point is...
This was the same as Celtics team that one game away from the NBA Finals last year with no Kyrie.
This is the toughest
series. And no Gordon Hayward.
Pay attention.
Don't tell me what to do, devil woman.
I'm over here. Nobody's over there.
Don't tell me my business, devil
woman. Our guy
woman.
Brian Forster, Brian Forster is behind us right now watching. But this is the toughest series to pick for me because I love the Portland Trail Blazers.
And I like Damian Lillard.
I love Damian Lillard. The home record, though. What was that stat? Home team's all-time record.
Okay, so you want the Nuggets or you want the home team?
No, home all-time record.
Don't yell at me.
I just did. You listen to me.
This is
I'm the captain.
This is my birthday week. I'm the boss.
Your birthday's over, bro.
I'm the boss.
I was the MVP.
So, home teams in Game 7s are 105-28 with a 79% winning percentage. And the Nuggets, who finished with the best home record in the regular season, were 34-7.
I'm going with the Denver Nuggets. So am I. They are a different team at home. I would love to see Portland. I would not be surprised what happens in any of these 3 games going forward.
No, I do not know
what's going to happen. I do not know what's going to happen, but I would not be surprised. But I'm going with the Denver Nuggets to make it to the Western Conference Finals.
And for me, if the Nuggets are going to win, it's going to come down to Jamal Murray. Because the Joker has been
The Joker's the Joker. He's the best.
I said to you the other day, he might have been is probably one of the best players in the playoffs. He's leading his team in points, rebounds, and assists.
I mean, if you were to do a player rating right now, playoff players right now, the best players. Durant, maybe Kawhi 1-2 if you want to swap.
Giannis and the
Giannis, then Jokic probably 4.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely your top 4. It's not even a question. I wouldn't
He's not. I'm sorry.
There's not one Sixer.
I'm sorry. There's not a Sixer player. Sorry. Too inconsistent.
Okay, when Ben Simmons has 0 points.
Well, Philly fans, they celebrate every time if he has one good game.
They also booed last night.
Don't forget. They were the ones booing when they were up 8 still, and they were doing.
And up until last night's game, Embiid scored less than 15 points in 4 of the 5 games.
I don't know what Philly fans have to be happy about. I mean, the Phillies are not good.
Well, they're in first place.
Oh, congrats. They haven't won anything. The Eagles are just there again. They're not going to do anything.
They're good. Don't knock.
Yeah, don't worry. Their quarterback get injured again, and then they're going to have to bring in Nate the Great, right?
All right. So
and then the 76ers. But the 76ers, like I said, they have their opportunity. Yes. All these games.
The Rockets have their opportunity.
All these teams have their opportunities to get to a conference final.
And for Portland, here's their opportunity to get to where they haven't been since 2000 when they lost to the Lakers.
Well, speaking of,
and they had Sabonis,
yes.
and Rasheed Wallace.
Scottie Pippen was on the team.
Damian Stoudemire.
Yeah, Damian Stoudemire. Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
Crossed up by Kobe. Little float to Shaq. And then Shaq goes like this. And the rest is history. But speaking of those Lakers.
But I hold on. But I didn't make my I said Denver's going to win.
Yeah, you did. You said that.
Well, now I did.
Oh, you said it.
No, I said the key for them to win would be Jamal Murray. I didn't tell them they were going to win. Because I just want to hear a winner. We're Kansas City, and I got to give you the keys to the game. I just want to
hear a winner.
No,
you don't want to win. You don't want to win. You just want to look at the stats.
No, I want to dominate. You just want to
look at the key players. Yeah, dominate. You could dominate and still lose, though.
Yeah, the same guy.
You could dominate and still lose, right?
Are you the same guy?
That what?
That would knock Aaron Boone, but they just keep on winning.
I've slowed down on my Aaron Boone. No, you are right. I do knock him. I do still knock him. We'll talk about that with Joe in a little. Let's not spoil the surprise.
Now we did talk about the Celtics.
No, we're going to talk about the Lakers and the Celtics.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a Laker fan. Thank you. You're starting to listen to me.
So what does that mean?
It means that I'm the captain.
You're not the captain.
I am the captain. You ride with the captain.
If anyone's watching this show, they know who the captain is. You might be talking first. But I'm the driver. You're the brake man.
No.
Listen, you're
just the guy.
Don't you remember Cool Runnings?
No, you're just the guy that go gets me food.
No, you're Sanka.
You're just the guy that gets
Cool Runnings. Remember Sanka?
So you talk about the teams that are close to winning a championship, and then there's teams that, well, you don't know what the hell's going on with them. The Celtics, I know everybody's going to be like, oh, the Celtics are fine. Let's not forget, this is a team one game a year ago from going to an NBA Finals without Kyrie Irving. 1 year later, they take a major step back. Jason Tatum takes a major step back. Kyrie Irving just proved to the world that he cannot be the number one option. He proved to the New York Knicks. He proved to the Boston Celtics.
Proved to everyone.
He proved to every team that wants to go get him that he cannot lead a team.
That's why he needs LeBron.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with that.
That's why I think him going to...
It just shows that, like, he's such a talented player. We know how great of a point guard he is. He's one of the best in the game. But for the way
but so is Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook's a talented player. Doesn't mean
for the way he played this postseason, or this series...
Garbage.
Did not play well. The team as a whole played poorly. And it showed. And you need leadership... You need leadership to be displayed in moments like that. And Kyrie Irving did not show that. And that's why they were out in 5 games and got embarrassed in all of those games as well.
25 for 83 shots taken by Kyrie in the final 4 games. That's enough. That's all you have to be.
That's all you need to know about how Kyrie played in the final 4.
And this is the same guy that said after he took 22 shots and was 6 for 22, said he should have took 30.
You need a leader. Boston, the reason, and I remember when Paul Pierce, I was high. Look, I was very high on this Boston Celtics team. I thought they were going to the NBA Finals. I just had that feeling. And I also brought a point up. You know how the Boston Celtics got away from the Boston mantra? Think about it. We talk about the New England Patriots. We talk about the Boston Celtics. Or no, the Boston Bruins as well. And then the Boston Red Sox. Think about those 3 teams. 2 teams just won a championship. 1 team looks like it's on the verge of winning a championship. And the Boston Celtics are staying home. Why is that? Because the Boston Celtics, all those 3 teams have something all in common. They have unsung heroes. When their star players are down, struggling, you get the next man up. You have those unsung heroes. Steven Pierce, just to name a guy like that. A Julian Edelman. Just to name guys in the past. Deion Branch, Troy Brown, Ty Law. Good players, but unsung heroes that made them win games and play big. The Boston Celtics didn't have that. When Kyrie Irving was struggling, Jason Tatum was struggling. Terry Rozier was struggling. Al Horford was struggling. Marcus Smart was struggling. This team got away from its mantra. The city's mantra of Boston, the unsung heroes. We want to bash Boston all the time, Ted. We're not Boston fans, but the mantra of Boston is the never say die attitude, the unsung heroes.
Blue collar guys.
Blue collar, the unsung heroes coming up clutch. And the Boston Celtics got away from that, and that's why they are currently at home right now, because they got away from that. They got away from their beliefs, their city's code. And that's why they're home. Because they were too selfish, and that's all they cared about.
I don't think it's really to that point, in that extreme.
Why not?
Because I don't see it that way. For me, I see a team that was one game away from the finals that didn't have Gordon Hayward.
Because of the unsung heroes.
No, and Kyrie, exactly.
But the unsung heroes came up clutch. This year, they went back to selfishness, and that's why this whole season was like this.
It didn't come to selfishness.
But it was a roller coaster.
Here's where I see it. When you have a team like the Celtics have, you have to develop a hierarchy, meaning coach, superstar,
leader.
all-star,
No, you need superstar
leader, and then role players. And everyone's got to know their role. And I think when you brought back Gordon Hayward and you brought back Kyrie, no one really identified who was what. I'm the third baseman. You know what I mean? I'm the point guard. I'm going to take the last shot.
Exactly.
You know, there was a game early March, late February, I believe it was, and there was a play called for. Hold on, we got a caller.
Who was it? Hello?
Hello, is this Keys to the City?
What's up, pal? How's everything?
Good. How are you guys doing?
I can't complain. Currently talking about the Boston Celtics right now, the dysfunction of the Celtics and Lakers. Give us anything you want to talk. What do you want to talk about?
Definitely the Lakers.
Well, I am a Laker fan, so I want to hear your take on them. How do you think they are the laughingstock of sports right now?
I believe that they are right now the laughing stock, and I actually wanted to propose to you guys, do you think that they should trade LeBron James at this point?
Here's my thing. From what I've been watching, reading, the only way they trade LeBron is if they get a coach that he does not like. If he doesn't want that coach, then LeBron James should do everything in his power to get out of LA.
Because we have seen before that when he doesn't like a certain coach, he finds a way to get him out anyways, because he's not going to leave. But here's the
only way he leaves, though, is if they get a coach that he doesn't like a Frank Vogel, and it's not like, oh, I don't want this guy. Then he's going to try to demand a trade coming soon.
The Lakers just have to realize one thing, to his question is, you're not going to get what you expect in return. You're going to do the best you can, but you're never going to get to your point as much as you would really want what LeBron's quantifies on a team.
I think they have to trade LeBron as well, too. I'm a Laker fan, and yeah, you have the best player in the world on your team, but it's just not going anywhere. There's no hope for them going forward. There's no title picture. It's not near them. It's not even close. You're in rebuild mode. You're in a dark day right now in LA. I mean, you're going to have fans protesting soon. It's probably happening in the next couple hours right outside. I mean, that's as dark as it gets in LA. And when the Lakers are bad, it's just bad for the NBA. And when you have LeBron James, you think, oh, this is going to be great. We're going to be starting to contend. A year later, we're in the dumps. We're in a worse position than we were a year ago. And that was without LeBron James. So if I'm LeBron, he needs to ask for a trade. And if I'm Jeannie Best and I'm the Lakers ownership, I would strongly try to consider it.
But do you think LeBron would want to leave, though, because he moved to L.A., I think not just for basketball, but because of his other business ventures and because of his kids wanting to be in L.A.? I don't see, even though I think like the team would like to move him, I don't see him being in a situation where he really wants to move to a different team at this point.
Totally agree with you, because part of the reason of him moving to LA
was all business.
Was half business. Yes, he wanted to play for the Lakers and finish off his career there, but it was a business move too. And to go anywhere else, it's not like he's really going to be able to tell a team where he's going to be able to go. They're going to take the best offer. So he's setting himself backwards, or else he should have just stayed in Cleveland the whole time. So to your point, I agree with you. Where is he going to get traded? And then he doesn't want to get traded. That's why I see a Kyrie coming here, and he needs to be part of the coaching decision.
I just see if they hire the wrong coach. I think he's going to try to do everything he can in his power to get out of LA.
Maybe he'll be one of those guys where they did. Try to think of the Celtics guy who did it, but it was a player and coach.
Bill Russell?
Let LeBron be the player and coach, right? He's already calling the shots anyways.
He basically could be the GM too.
He could be everything for LA. I just think somebody made a good point. I was looking at a comment. He made a bad decision in coming to LA. To me, if I was LeBron last year, I would have strongly considered Philadelphia. I mean, Philadelphia was on the brink of being a title contending team. LA was still, they didn't make the playoffs. They weren't contending yet. So for him to go there, you had the young pieces. And he wants to go to a team that's already contending. He should have made that decision of seriously considering it. I don't think he ever considered going to Philly.
Maybe he'll go to the Warriors after Durant leaves.
Oh, God.
And one final question. This is a Giants question. What's been more frustrating for Giant fans this week? Has it been the Daniel Jones checkdowns to fullbacks, or has it been the drafting report that a team was considering him as a tight end?
I can't believe that a quarterback like him, I mean, he's got all the tools to be a good quarterback. For somebody to ask him to be a tight end, they did that with Lamar Jackson last year. I think that's frustrating. If you're a player and you're getting asked by a team to, can you try out for tight end? No, I'm a quarterback.
He doesn't even look like a tight end.
I've always been playing quarterback. I'm not changing my position for you. And if you don't like it, then too bad. So I just think it's baffling that somebody would ask him to go try out for tight end. Lamar Jackson could have been maybe different because he was very fast. He was athletic. Could try him out receiver. You've done that before with previous players. But Daniel Jones, no. I just think that's more frustrating to me.
I just smile because you would think the Giants had the number 1 pick in the draft this year.
And he's probably been the most talked about rookie right now.
And he had a pretty good minicamp. Now I know it's 7-7, no pads and no real defenses. But if you read the stories about how Eli Manning's first day was,
it was horrible
compared to Daniel.
According to Mara,
Jones,
it was horrible
or awful. So hey, listen, time will tell. As Gettleman said, time will tell. If when he does play and how he performs. And listen, if he performs well and you're a Giant fan, all right, you eat crow and you move on and you say, let's go, kid, let's rock and roll.
I've been saying it for weeks. Prove me wrong. Don't prove me right in this situation. That's all I'll have to say about the Daniel Jones thing. Time will tell, though. No, thanks for calling, big guy. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
See you, buddy. That was Nolan Rich, the host of the podcast, Rich Talk Sports Show.
Check it out. He's got some very interesting takes on a lot of different topics.
He called. I haven't heard his voice. I'm glad we got to talk to him. We had some technical difficulties a couple of weeks ago. We got him in. Appreciate the calls. Let's finish up with the Lakers, and then we'll go to
we'll just build off of what he was coming off of.
The Lakers, look, I'm a Laker fan. It's frustrating to see what's going on right now. It's dark days. I mean,
it's sad.
I've talked a lot. I mean, I've been talking with Pete a lot about this because he is the LeBron guy. He loves his LeBron James. But to see what the Lakers are right now as a franchise, no coach, dysfunction in the management from top to bottom. The players, LeBron James, don't know if he wants to get out, if he wants to stay. You don't know what's going to happen if they don't get. And talk about also, you might not get any marquee free agents as well.
So I'll just put it in this, and I'll summarize it in this. What they need to do is everyone needs to swallow their pride. The Lakers need to hurry up and run back to Tyronn Lue and say, listen, what do you need to make you our coach so that we can make you happy, that we can make LeBron happy? Get LeBron on the phone, make a 3-way call or whatever you need to do, FaceTime it, Skype it, and let's make it happen so LeBron's happy. We still have good pieces around. If we can get a healthy Lonzo Ball back, we got some pieces there. We got a Kyle Kuzma. We have a Brandon Ingram. We don't know what's going to be the health, but we got pieces, and we have LeBron James. If we can get a Jimmy Butler and a Kyrie Irving or one.
Let me ask you the question. Does anybody want to go to a team like that right now?
I'll put it this way.
You're telling Jimmy Butler to go to Philly, who's on a team right now that's contending possibly for a championship, to go to a team that has fans protesting and want to beat each other up and rip each other's eyes out apart from top to bottom. Well, when you have Jeannie Buss versus LeBron James, but when you have Rob Pelinka and Kurt Rambis and Linda Rambis against LeBron James, that's what it is.
And I think the biggest problem with the Lakers, it's not the team, it's the organization.
But you expect a player like a Jimmy Butler or even a Tobias Harris, a Kemba Walker, Klay Thompson, just the usual.
I'll put it this way. I think Kyrie, yes, because he has belief and faith in LeBron James that he could call the shots, run the show, give him. That's why I said, make him the coach Put him in some type of personnel where he's also in the organization or something. Hey, it's not like it hasn't been done before. So put him in a position to succeed because that's what it's all about. Succeeding and winning.
Yeah, but are they going to succeed with this team right now? No. There's no hope right now. They don't even have a damn coach. And in a couple hours, you're going to have, let me repeat that, fans protesting.
Fans protest about everything now.
No. That's how dark of a time it is right now for LA.
All right, but you still got LeBron James.
I mean, Ted, the Clippers, who made the playoffs.
You know when you're going to know it's a dark day? When it's July something and all the big name free agents are gone. That's going to be the
What's
dark
your percentage
day.
that happens? Give me a percentage.
25%.
You expect somebody to sign with the Lakers currently right now?
Yes.
Who would be that one guy?
Kyrie first. Maybe Jimmy Butler.
I just don't see Jimmy Butler
likes LA.
I don't see Jimmy Butler leaving a position that he's in right now.
You know, I'd really love to check out that rumor that Chris Broussard said, and then it was this morning. And I like Chris Broussard because I
love Chris Broussard. Yeah,
when he said
one of the best in the game.
LeBron's been in Philly this week, chatting with Kawhi. Now, I don't think Kawhi wants to go there.
No,
but he does want to go to LA. So I think it all predetermines on what the Clippers do.
And there's been a report by Woj that Klay Thompson also, if he decided to leave Golden State, would prefer the Clippers over the Lakers.
Well, because of the dysfunction.
That's what I'm saying, man. I just don't see a player. Maybe Kyrie's the only guy. Go from one dysfunction to another dysfunctional organization.
Of course, the Knicks will play a key factor in what happens next week when they have the lottery. So,
if I'm the Knicks, I stay away from Kyrie Irving.
With that being said, though, the NBA postseason has been great.
I told you, we start with the good. We went with the bad,
there's a lot of
and then we went to the ugly.
And like we said, we can have 3 Game 7s Sunday, which I think we will. I think we'll have the win. I
agree with one of my guy Christian. Jimmy loves Philly. I just don't see if he gets a max contract. I don't see him leaving Philly,
and that would be a nice big 3 going forward.
Yes, and you could contend. Oh my God, why would you want to leave? Why would anybody want to go to LA right now? No offense, I'm a diehard Laker fan, but why would anybody want to go to the Lakers? That's all I'm.
Now the Celtics are in disarray too, and we're not going to get into it, but they are in disarray because Gordon Hayward is not the all-star player that he was. The Utah Jazz.
Lose Kyrie.
Jason Tatum has taken a significant step backwards. They're going to lose Kyrie. You know, Terry Rozier is a restricted free agent. Marcus Smart, guys, Al Horford's getting older. The coach, the coach that we want to anoint as the great one, well, he's proved that he can't handle multiple personalities because this team was a disaster and fell apart, and it showed. They won the first game, and they got blown out the next 4 against Milwaukee. And Celtics were not that bad compared to the Bucks.
So to these teams that are playing in Game 7,
win now or go home.
Win now, go home. Your season's over with. And then teams like the Lakers and Celtics, they got to get their stuff together because right now, especially for my Lakers, it's dark days. Ladies and gentlemen, we're taking our one and only break. When we come back, we are joined by the fan favorite, Joe Aguiar, the host of the Roll Call, president of Clovercrest Media. Talk some New York Yankees baseball as well as our top 5 power rankings in the MLB. We are listening Keys to the City from All Noise Radio. We'll be right back, folks.
You want sports? We've got sports. Here on Keys to the City. Brought to you by All Noise Radio. Here's your hosts, Trevor and Ted.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Keys to the City from All Noise Radio, joined by the fan favorite Joe Aguiar, the host of the Roll Call, president of Clovercrest Media. Big series this weekend. And the Yankees, look, you kind of breaking my stones earlier saying, oh, you want to hate on Aaron Boone. Look, I told you, I've backed off on the Aaron Boone.
No, I know. I'm just breaking your stones.
Because they are playing great. He still does make some bad decisions with the lineups, but this lineups that he's putting in is producing, coming up clutch, and they're playing great for a team that has, for the most part, a lot of AAA JV type players, and they're doing their part. They're getting their opportunities, and they're taking advantage. Joe, how impressed are you with this current New York team right now, this Yankee team?
I love this team right now, and I'll say this, if there's one thing about Aaron Boone that I don't like, it's his reliance on the analytics. Mm-hmm. And it's because of that it was inexplicable that Brett Gardner was leading off, or that DJ LeMahieu was hitting down the lineup. And I feel like he's thrown that out the window now, and he's going with what makes sense, and the team has responded. You remember this team was 10-10, and we talked about let's get to 500. Let's see what happens. Mm-hmm. They've been on a great run, 11-5 since then.
Now they're 22-15.
So 12-5, as a matter of fact, since then. The Red Sox just reached 500 this week.
Yep, they are 8-2 in their last 10.
19-19.
Which is great. It took 8-2 over 10 games to get
and you
to
figured
500.
they eventually were going to get there, as we've talked, because they're too talented of a team. Chris Sale has looked good in his last 2 starts. I know Price went to the IL. It's always the thing with him. But that team, that lineup, is too talented to not start winning baseball games. And I think, and I said to Joe last night, I said, I think a lot of it had to do with a little hangover from the World Series. And, when you read a lot of the Red Sox stuff, you see how Cora really kind of babied his starters throughout the spring training. Like, he didn't really pitch them like a normal coach would to get his pitchers ready. So I always look at it, and I say this to you, Trev, when we talk football, in that the first 4 games in September are an extension of the preseason because of the new CBA, where they don't practice, they don't hit, they don't. To get better, you need to practice. And to think in 2.5 weeks down in Florida is going to get you ready 3 weeks, and then now we're going to go to Boston, it's 35 degrees, and we're going to start throwing 95 and hit the ball. It just doesn't happen.
Who are you most impressed by? If there's like a player specifically of this Yankee team right now that you're impressed by?
We're talking Yankees?
Oh, yeah. What did you think we were talking about?
Oh, MLB. I thought you were going to say...
No. I'm talking about the Yankees. How impressed are you with the Yanks, and what one player?
I would say, listen, DJ LeMahieu is an easy choice. It was a guy who, when the Yankees picked, we thought super utility guy. And the Ben Zobrist, that's what they've always had in mind. A guy like that. LeMahieu's been awesome. Luke Voigt's the real deal. I think we all realize now Luke Voigt ain't going anywhere. He's a legit Major League Baseball player.
By Greg Bird.
He's our first baseman.
By Greg Bird.
Yeah, Greg Bird's out. Domingo Germán, 6-1, 2.35 ERA. Who saw that coming? It's hard to argue that Severino in that spot would be doing any better.
A year ago, they had similar stats. Just for your information, him and Herman.
My MVP, though, so far this year has missed 14 games. And his name is Gary Sanchez.
He's not the best catcher.
He's really the best catcher in the game, hands down.
Best hitting catcher.
Throw the 190 batting average from last season out the window.
He's the best hitting catcher.
He's the best catcher in the game.
Most errors
He's got the best arm. He's got 6 throwing errors.
He's got the most errors
He's got 6 throwing errors. He's made 6 mistakes behind the plate this year. He's only got 2 passed balls. He's the 4th ranked defensive catcher in the league.
He's like James Harden. Great offensive player, terrible defensive player.
I disagree with that. And by the way,
come on, he's a terrible defensive player.
He's got 11 home runs.
He's not as
85 at bats.
I know how great he is as an offensive player.
But that's all besides the point. Listen.
Here's the thing. There's no more Pudge no more. You're not going to have lights out, dominant, gun-throwing catchers like they used to have. It's a different game nowadays. It is. You're going to get more Mike Piazzas than you're going to get Pudge Rodriguez's. And it's not that Pudge couldn't hit the ball, because he was a good hitter.
Great. Pudge was a complete catcher.
But
that's my problem with saying he's not a complete catcher.
You know what, though? Who is in the league?
Let me ask you this. What does that even mean?
You'll take Gary over Wilson Contreras.
Who would you take? You take Wilson Contreras? That's why you're not a GM, and you never will be.
None of us are going to be GMs. But are any of us going to be GMs? No. So it doesn't matter.
I'm working hard at this.
No, what you got to do is you got to get on Jeopardy, and you got to win for 20-something consecutive times.
Can I tell you something else about Gary Sanchez? Do you know Gary Sanchez going from 2nd to 3rd on ground balls? He does it 46% of the time. The Major League average is 42%. So for anybody who doesn't think Gary Sanchez hustles, or he's lazy, or he's not all into the game, you don't know what you're talking about. This is a catcher who fought through a groin injury for the entire duration of the 2018 season. And we talked about this, Ted.
multiple.
If there's not a worse injury as a catcher than your groin.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all the stress is
ruined his whole season. He still hit 18 home runs, had 53 RBI in limited action with a bad groin. That's still better than Wilson Contreras and everybody else in the game.
You should have made that bet with him last year.
Well, no,
I bet with him.
I joked with someone last night. I said, now he was 0 for 10. He had the night off last night, but he was 0 for 10 going into last night's game. Now he'll play tonight. He's getting the start. But I said he's on pace. He'll probably play about 138 games. Hopefully we don't have to see another injury. Hopefully, and that's a big hope.
Can only hope.
And
with the way this season's going,
and I say he's on pace for about 63 home runs.
Oh man, then you might have to pay double up if he does that.
And then that's fine, because if he hits 63 home runs, that's great. And you assume that as the weather gets better and warmer, that these guys' bats will get warmer and heat up, and the ball's going to travel farther. You know what I mean? So to Joe's point, you could see 40 home runs this year by Gary Sanchez. Listen, he is not going to be lights out defensive catcher. He's got a strong arm, but you also got to understand that a bat throw, you got to look at the whole play. Was the guy on top of the base? Did he come off the bag? I've seen Torres not handle the bag as well as sometimes as a normal shortstop as Jeter used to. And Jeter was great at catching it and slapping. And then you know who else was great at that? Cano. Probably had the fastest tag ever. But this team, for me, it's not one player. Luke Voit, you can make the argument. He has been
Who's been the best player for the Yankees?
He's been the pole that kept everyone.
Who's been the best player for the Yankees, that you would say?
Voit at times. Sanchez when he's been healthy. Gio Urshela, my guy for 28 games.
How about Cameron Maben with a 441 on base?
But he's been a nice pickup for them.
I think you really have to look at Joe, the guy who's starting tonight, Domingo Germán. Listen, none of the pitchers that we have on the roster have really stepped up. You know, CeCe's been good.
He's been great.
I know. Paxton, you know, he started out slow. They had 2 or 3 good games, and he was kind of off. Tanaka's really struggled lately. But you have a guy right now that's going to go. I'm just reading an article. It said, who would ever thought second week of May you'd have the 2 best pitchers in the AL right now with 6 wins pitching tonight? You got a guy in Tyler Glasnow.
He's been lights out. He's been lights out.
He's 6-0.
6-0 with a 1.87 ERA, and Domingo Germán, who is 6-1 with a 2.87 ERA. You know, that's huge, because if you're not getting the production out of your starters, it doesn't matter how well everyone performs, you're eventually going to lose games. And I look at him and I'm like, there's your ace right now, man. I mean, everyone else has really kind of been average. He's 6-1. Think about it. If he's 3-3, sure. Where's our record right now? We might be
to 500.
Closer to 500, and that's such a key role.
Speaking of your guy Gio Urshela, do you? I know you probably don't agree, but do you think he's confused things at all with third base with the way he's been playing defensively, but his bat as well? I know it's only a glimpse right now, but he's playing very well. He's taking advantage of his opportunity right now, and they probably did rush back.
Makes the Yankees' job easy,
and they rushed Andujar to back.
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have, though, because you have Urshela, and he's going to stay on the roster. I mean, they're not going to.
Here's the thing. Now he's clutch.
But do you think he's confused things at all?
Hitless in his last 15 at-bats. Obviously a bump shoulder. You know, they definitely rushed him back.
100%. I don't understand why they brought him back so soon.
Well,
Aaron Hicks.
Do you think they rushed him back? Do you think the Yankees would have really rushed him back and risked him hurting himself worse throughout the season?
Well, I'm just not sure why they did it, because Aaron Hicks was down at A, and he's gone 0 for 9. Couple of walks. He's been horrible.
0 for 11. Now he's going to go back to Scranton Wilkes-Barre this weekend. So his time got pushed to next week.
They just didn't need to rush.
So I'm confused why Miguel Andujar isn't getting some swings down on the farm somewhere, getting the timing out because of how well Gio has played. But no, I love Gio, and he's been fantastic, and it's been like 3 weeks.
Who gave the go on that? Who's the one that said, yeah, bring him back up? Who's the
team,
one?
bro?
I just don't understand why somebody would do that to rush him back.
He also might have said, I'm good.
He still doesn't look him.
Yeah, but when you're out for a couple of weeks,
he should have waited another couple, like a month or two.
It's not working. Put it to you like that.
We want you back 100%. We don't want you coming back and you start.
Well, he's got to be 100% because he started third base last night because Urshela was out. So,
but I want him. I don't think he only got the start at third because Gio was out. I think they're going to start working Miguel Andujar back in because third base is his. And I understand it's been a great 3 weeks for Gio, but understand something. This guy's been a colossal failure. He was one of the top prospects in the minors in 2012.
Oh, Gio, yeah.
Yeah, it's 2019.
Cleveland and Toronto.
And he's 27, 28.
Luke Voigt couldn't do anything. I know. I'm just saying, Joe.
Could they understand, too, Luke Voigt also was faced with a little bit of a backup at first base in St. Louis. And then they obviously went out and got Goldschmidt, which just further cemented the idea he wasn't going to have a position. This is a little bit different. Gio just couldn't hit.
I'll put it this way. His fielding is better than Andujar's.
Yeah.
So if his back can match it, now it makes...
And Romine's
would it be crazy?
defense is better than Sanchez's, but that doesn't mean that Romine's going to be the everyday guy.
Would it be crazy to maybe try to sub him in at first?
I'm putting him at DH.
Put him at
You're telling me Andujar is a lousy third baseman, and now you want to put him at first base too?
I'm just saying,
I'm putting him at DH.
Just right now because of the injury. Just for him to not
DH.
Just DH?
Yes. And when Gio needs a rest...
I still think he's a better fielder than just to be a DH.
No, and when Gio needs a rest, you put him at third. And we'll see how Andujar progresses, because if he can get back to where he was last year hitting the ball, then I understand Joe's point, because he was one of the best hitters in all of baseball last year as a rookie, and you expect him to get better as time goes on. And what the great thing about it is then what you could do is you bring Gio off the bench late in the innings, knowing that you have a certified defensive third baseman and a guy who's clutch, who the other night, we won 3-1 last night because of his hit down the line, or LeMahieu's, and then the other night he had a 2-run shot to dead center. Mm-hmm. And that was a big win for them to come back. That was a big win, and Cameron Maybin to score. And you're looking at this team. My thing is this, Joe, and I asked a couple other Yankee fans who are very passionate, just like you, me, and Trevor are. For now, you got to stick with the hot hands, because Andujar,
do you think it messes up the chemistry if you bring all the...
they can't automatically come in the lineup. You have to... And that's
Judge comes back, Stan comes back.
That is going to be the hardest job Aaron Boone faces this year.
Yes.
No, his first 2 years of
No.
It'll be his hardest decision in the first 2 years.
You're fortunate where these guys are kind of coming back staggered, which is important, because I do... Listen... It's going to mess up the chemistry, and already you've got people who want Gio over Miguel Andujar because of 3 weeks. And I think it's a little premature. I hope it works out, and you're right, Ted. It'd be a great problem for them to have if they're like, exactly. Who has to sit tonight? Everyone's playing
Now, we
great.
know Judge, when he comes back, he's starting. Cameron Maybin's not starting over. But we know Cameron Maybin's a reliable veteran who can steal bases and play a very good outfield.
What do they do? My thing is, what are they going to do with Clint Frazier? Because once Stanton comes, I think that's going to be the biggest issue. Because if he continues to play,
I'll make you answer right now. Catch the ball in the outfield.
Okay,
what's that all about? How has he forgotten how to catch balls?
No, but I'm trying to say, when Stan comes back and then when Judge comes back, if he's playing good,
he's getting down. He's moving down. Because they're not going to move.
They're not let him go.
They're not putting Gardner down.
Bring him back.
Gardner is staying with the.
They just trade the damn kid.
I'm not
trade
sure
him then.
about that.
It's stupid.
Listen,
why keep wasting him? He's a good player. Just if you want to keep doing
understand
that, trade him
too,
somewhere.
Though. There's not even a timeline on Aaron Judge right now. We have no idea when he's coming back or when he's going to start rehabbing.
I bet Severino comes back before him.
No, I bet that both are on. I bet he comes back before Severino.
Nope.
Pitchers is different than a hitter.
Oblique strain? Oblique injury to a big guy like him?
Stan's supposed to be coming back.
This oblique apparently is it's a bad one. It's a lot worse than they led on from the get-go. It is pretty severe. He is going to be out for a while, which could work out to the Yankees' advantage because it'll give you a chance to go Stanton, Hicks, and Frazier, which will be awesome.
Well, who knows when Hicks coming back?
Hicks should be back on Monday.
They got him against the Orioles. I got it right in front of me in the post.
Should be back on Monday. No, but again, and here's the thing, and I love Aaron Hicks. I'm one of the biggest Aaron Hicks advocates.
220 hitter.
240
with power.
240.
He's better than that.
I know.
That's why I said 240.
But he does get hurt a lot. And him coming off the DL is never a sure thing either. He's one of those guys where when you think he's close, sometimes
That's why
you find out.
That's why that contract they gave him was just a big question.
Listen, this is a guy who could hit 280 with 30 homers. He's so
Yes.
7 years, $70 million. I'm sorry, I would pay that all day.
Oh, yeah,
for him.
100%
I know
compared
the
to the
injuries
others,
suck,
yes.
but this guy, when he's healthy, is a great player, and you've got the depth now. So
my only
I
thing would have been
wouldn't freak
my
out
only thing
about
I
it.
knocked on was the years. I would have been more.
It's a lot of years.
I would have been more comfortable with Severino's 4-year, $40 million deal, something similar to that.
What do you expect from the Yankees this weekend?
Yeah, let's get into that.
Well.
Oh, we've been talking about it. Yeah, I just figured what do we expect from the Yankees this weekend? It's always tough going to Tampa. We always seem to struggle against them in Tampa.
And we face,
I hate it.
And we
I
face
hate
their
it.
two aces. We face Snell on Sunday,
Yep.
and we play.
But I hate it that like they always.
Have you ever noticed too? Whenever they're at the Trop, that the Yankees always hit the roof and don't get a good result.
It's
never a good result though.
Something freaky always happens.
It's always
Hate it.
something weird. It should have been a home run, but it's an out.
What do you expect from it this weekend?
The way this team is playing right now, and I mean, I think Tampa's playing pretty well too. I think this team is so scrappy that it wouldn't surprise me if the Yankees took 2 or 3 from the Rays and then dropped 2 or 3 to Baltimore.
But do you also
after that? Because that sort of seems how this team goes.
Do you also think that we can actually get a true test against 2 aces of this lineup if they get exposed by the 2 aces of Tampa?
More importantly,
is that like a fair?
I don't look at it as an exposing. I'll let Joe.
Well, if they do, that's what I'm saying.
More importantly, they're going to face an opener in this series again
Saturday,
and it seems they never do well with that. Okay. The Yankees seem to struggle with openers,
or a guy who's a rookie who's never pitched before.
That's always a good one too.
Because they never seen
it. It's a true thing. It's
you're right.
Could you see them getting exposed?
You're facing a team who right now I have ranked higher than the Yankees, and not just in the standings. I think it's an all-around better team. You are facing their 2 top pitchers, and I mean
the Red Sox went in and swept.
Series.
The Red Sox went in and swept them,
but they also had. They still had their players. Where the Yankees have a completely different lineup, but also that lineup could be
because this team. Pretty much, other than the first week of the season, has been the same.
But that
team.
lineup could be a huge help because the Yankees change lineups every game, Ted.
Oh, 30. Did you see that stat last night? Did you watch the game at all last night?
I did.
So,
listen to this.
The keys to the game. So, I took a picture last night, and it was Paul Nielsen. The Yankees have had 36 different lineups, in 37 games this season.
That's insane.
Is that a good thing to have also as well, going against these pitchers, to have a different lineup?
Never.
Yes.
I say no because baseball's about consistency.
No, but I say yes too because
they're
winning. Throw it different.
They're winning, so it's not hurting them.
No,
does it hurt the other team, the game plan, if you're not sure what you're looking at? Yes. Because if you went in there and you were assuming Gardner was going to lead off, all of a sudden
I know what you mean.
He's hitting at the
and the Judge at 2 and Stan at 3.
I think the lineup changes are to the because they're winning. I would say it's to their advantage. If they were losing, I'd be like, you need the consistency of an everyday lineup. Well, that's working for them.
Well, that and you can't really set up your pitching to know who you're really going to face.
Right.
And like we said, we've seen Gardner bat 3rd and 2nd and 1st and 6th and 8th. So you don't really know where these guys and guys have played multiple. So it's not going to be effective. Be like, DJ, listen, this series I like you at the 3 spot, and I'm going to put Sanchez behind you at 4. And I'm going to put Torres at 2, and I'm going to start Guardy at 1. But that's how we're going to do it. You know what I mean? We're going to put a little different. We're going to put a little bounce. We're going to put a little contact in front of Gary. And then we're going to put Voit at 5th. We're going to add back-to-back power sluggers. And then we'll fill in the rest of the spots with Gio and whoever else is going to play this weekend. So I like that. And knowing that these guys have had opportunities to participate in the lineup at different positions, it's not... Listen, baseball players, I think, as all professional athletes, they like consistency and they like routines.
Of course.
And I think the way the Yankees have played, where they have been out of routine, it's going to help them because they have been successful.
Because it confuses pitching staffs in this case.
But it is a big series because
pitchers have to...
They don't play again down in the Trop against them until July 4th weekend.
Oh, thank
So I was just reading it. But
that's good.
Listen, it's one of those things where we always talk about baseball. You want to win 2 out of every 3.
Yeah,
and you're. I mean, you're a 92 win.
They just
baseball
took
team
2 or 3 over Minnesota, and they just won 3 or 4 over Seattle. 2 teams that are currently over 500.
And I think tonight
that was impressive.
And I think tonight, it's a good kind of.
It's another good test. You're on the road
against the best pitcher in baseball right now.
You're going against 2 great aces this weekend, and who knows how they do against tomorrow's starter as well. It's a true test for the Yankees this weekend.
And it's funny because the comment is backup Bombers versus the thrifty Rays. It really is. I mean, if you looked at the Rays are in first place and one of the best teams in baseball.
Yeah.
Of no names.
Yeah.
Their Cy Young is not even their best pitcher.
You know they have a plus 59 run differential.
Correct.
I mean, this is
right
not
now, yeah.
this is not the kind of D-Rays team that you expect.
And
they're not just winning.
Best differential
they're
right now in the game.
Kicking butt right now.
Their team ERA is 2.87, which by far is
They're
the best.
better on the road though.
Dude, that's good.
They're 11-8.
But you know what? But you know what? They usually are. Because
well, against the Yankees,
because when they play home, because when they play home,
Could be.
it's not like it's a home field advantage. So they're a team where like they gather themselves and they come together stronger when they're on the road. It's kind of like a me versus the world mentality.
So
I think it's hard to be fired up and play hard in front of like 5,000 people.
You're getting the Yankees coming into town, so
I was going to say 8,000 and like 5,000 Yankee fans.
Yeah, okay.
No,
yeah.
Right. That doesn't feel good. It can't feel good.
And that's what's sad because this team is a good team. And they're not getting the fan support, which is I'd be very frustrated with.
Tampa Bay should be ashamed of themselves because they've never supported this team. And this team's had some great seasons, in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
It's some really good teams.
they went to a damn World Series.
And the fans just don't come out.
So, last week we talked about the MLB attendance. We talked about how it was down for a lot of teams, like the Twins and the Rays and the Marlins and some of these other teams. And so I sent this to Trev last night because I'm going through Snapchat and I follow the MLB.com on Snapchat. And so the Twins started this promotion to try to get more. Because they're in first place. They're the biggest.
They have the best record in baseball, right?
Best record in baseball by percentage-wise. So starting Wednesday night at 6 p.m., running till yesterday till 2 p.m., they sold over 20,000 tickets. They ran a $5 ticket promotion for tickets for all the games for the rest of the month in May.
Why can't the Yankees do that?
And
I would be at every game.
So. And it was, and I sent it to Trev.
I would.
Twins $5
I'm going
tickets.
back to Yankee Stadium.
Oh yeah.
So it said right here, tickets. They've increased tickets by a huge amount, and they said part of the thing was how MLB attendance is down, and the Twins took it as a serious thing. Like we're great, and no one's coming to get their game. So what do we got to do to get the people here?
Yep.
So let's get $5 promotions out, and they sold 20,000 tickets in less than 24 hours. Now, that's still over the rest of the month's games, and they still haven't finished the rest of the month out. They said they'll run it through they think there was 2 more series left at home. But, if I had a $5 ticket, now it wasn't in the upper deck, but it was somewhere in the bleachers or something at the Yankees Stadium, I'd more likely go. Because I know I'm going to pay an arm and a leg for everything else. And I think baseball teams need to really look in the mirror and say, how do we increase ticket revenue? Because the key is to get the people in the stands. After that, they're going to spend money. They're not going to sit there with their hands in their pocket.
Yeah.
They're going to take their kids for $5 because they know, wow, it's affordable. I can take my 5-year-old and 8-year-old. I can buy them a hot dog and cheeseburger and french fries and whatever. And no, I'm not. Because me and Mom did this last week. You had 2 kids and you take your kids and we do into the thing. $35 tickets to the Yankee game, right? Say $30. Then they're $35 train tickets. Then you buy a hot dog, a cheeseburger, or 2 hot dogs and a french fry and a drink. There's like $30 right there. Next thing you know, you're like $400 in the hole for the day. And it's like, that's a whole check or a half a check for someone. They can't just do that. So if you could make the tickets prices easier for people to go to, you're going to have a better chance to go. I know I would.
I think that's good news because I think at least what the Twins are finding out is it's not the game, it's not the team,
it's the tickets.
It's the fact that it's cost prohibitive.
Considering everything else costs an arm and a leg.
A $5 ticket is going to earn you. I mean, if I could get 4 tickets at $5 each, spend $20 on tickets, $35 on a train ticket. Are you kidding me? Come on. I'll go there and I will buy everything.
Yeah, because you got that extra money.
I'll spend $11 on a beer. I'll buy the $12 steak sandwich.
I'll buy the.
You know what I mean?
I want the chicken tender back.
I'll get the $9 pretzel. I'll do it all. I don't care.
And I like the Atlanta Falcons do this in football. Arthur Blank, he has all his, if you notice, there's free refills on all drinks except for beer. And all the concession stands are all like 1950 prices. It's like $3 for a hot dog, $4 for a cheeseburger, $2 for popcorn.
And Chick-fil-A doesn't open on Sundays.
And he also
Is that right?
And he also says,
Well, it can't.
if any other event is held there, they're not allowed to change the prices of any of the concession stands. They have to stay at the flat. So, I mean, as a Yankee fan, I know this. It's $10 for a beer. 10, 11, and if you want the souvenir, it's $12. And then I want a hot dog and a soda. I'm at $25 right there, and I haven't gotten anything. I haven't done anything else.
$7 for a hot dog. You could charge $2, and I'll buy 10 hot dogs.
So why?
You'll make a lot more money. And sell more.
I always
They're
said
eating
that.
10 hot dogs?
I can kill 10 hot dogs. Hot dog, that's a joke.
I always said though, if you lowered the ticket prices or even on buying certain things, I'd go spend more because I have more money now in my pocket that I have to use.
That's business 101 is get them in the door.
Exactly.
And Major League Baseball's massively failing at that.
I mean,
That's true.
Even with promotions of bobbleheads and other things are not working. Those things are not working. You got to get people.
Well, look at San Francisco, Willie Mays bobblehead day on a Sunday with Willie Mays in attendance, and they couldn't put people in that stadium. What more could you possibly want?
I'm just.
It was a perfect day.
I just see it. People just don't care about baseball as much as they used.
It's not that they don't care, but I can watch it on TV. I could go on Twitter the next day, and I can.
Well, you could do the same thing with basketball, the NFL games. You could do the same thing. Why are people doing that?
In the NBA,
why are people going to games though?
It's different.
Which for what?
What you're saying, you could rather stay home.
There's 8 home games in the NFL. It's a different animal. Throw it out the window. You want to bring up basketball? Okay. Who goes to basketball games? I'll tell you exactly who's filling the 20,000 seat arenas.
First of all,
these are about
attendance is down in the NFL because it's too expensive to go to a football game, and it's a lot cheaper to watch it on HD with the red zone.
Half the size an NBA stadium. Less games. Of course you're going to be able to fill those out. Baseball, listen, why do I want to drop like $600 on tickets, concessions, train tickets, and the whole nine to see the Yankees play in May? Why would I do that? I'll do that in September. I love going to playoff games. I love it. I love going late September.
Especially when there's a 82.
I would love to go.
Go to a game in June or July, you sweat your balls off for 3.5 hours, and the only way to calm it down is like a $12 beer. It's not really. It's not an ideal situation.
We know that because we've taken our father 2 years in a row for his birthday, and it seems to be the hottest game ever.
Oh, yeah.
In July.
Yeah.
And we went to the night game.
Yep.
And it was soaked.
Yeah, it was soaked. I felt like I lost 10 pounds.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's plenty of Yankee games like that. So you're absolutely dying. There's no shade.
Those steak and cheese,
Trev,
those hot dogs don't sound too.
No, they don't.
Trev, to your point, you are right. People are not interested in as baseball as they are football and basketball. But to get people interested, make the ticket prices cheaper and get the person who is wavering on the thing about going. He might say, you know what, for $5, I'll go.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the Minnesota Twins because I want to do our power rankings right now. I want to close out with the power rankings. You're listening to Keys of the City from All Noise Radio with the host of the Roll Call, President of Clovercrest Media.
Do you want them exactly ranked or you want your five? I have my top 5.
I ranked them 1 through 5.
1 through 5. If you want to start at 5, you could start at 5. Whatever is easier for you guys. I know it's a little tough for you, Ted, sometimes. If you want to start at 1, we could go 1 through 4 or 5.
Or you also go A, B, C, D, E.
What do you want to do, Ted? Do you want to go 5 through 1 or you 1 through 5?
Well, I think we should have the best.
Let's start with 5. Start with 5 and work your way up, Joe.
My 5th best team is the LA Dodgers.
Wow.
25-15 record.
Wow.
And a 45+ run differential.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my team right now.
Who's 4?
My 4th team is the Houston Astros. Astros are 23-15, a 49 run differential.
Okay. Who's 3?
Number 3, I've got the Minnesota Twins. At 23-12, they've got a plus 44 run differential. Cleveland is only, I think, a game back or 2 games back right now. They've got a -9 run differential.
3.5 back.
Is it 3.5 back? I mean, it's close, but Cleveland isn't playing half as well as the Minnesota Twins are right now.
Out right now too.
With Kluber, I think the Indians are in some real trouble there. Number 2 is the Chicago Cubs, and that's despite the fact Milwaukee's on a 6-game winning streak. I've probably got the Brewers right now.
Number one is
7th.
I think I know your number one.
I don't think you do.
Who's your number one?
My number one team is the Tampa Bay Rays.
Exactly what I knew you were
23 and 13.
Because you said they were higher than the
differential.
Yankees. You thought they were a better team.
So you didn't have the Yankees in?
Nope.
I do not. I have the Yankees maybe 6th or 7th. I think right now, maybe for me, the Phillies or the Cardinals might be ahead of the Yankees. Wow. And then I think got the Brewers slotted in right there. I've got the Red Sox ranked 15th.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
500, right in the middle.
That's where you're at, kids.
5. Whoa. My chair just went down. See how shocked I am? My chair.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
My list deflated your chair.
You threw me off. So who's your 5th?
My 5th is the Chicago Cubs right now. Chicago Cubs, they've been one of the hottest teams in baseball, 9-1. I just looked at, they're a plus 57 run differential in the NL. That's the best in any team in the NL. Only team better than them is the Rays, and they're at plus 59.
Yep.
And listen, I said this when we did our preseason show. I looked at that rotation with Quintana and Hendricks and Lester and oh my God, I'm drawing blanks
Lester?
here.
Did you say Lester?
I said Lester.
Oh, you Darvish and Cole Hamels?
And Cole Hamels. I mean, listen, you look at that lineup, and you have Chris Bryant, you have Rizzo, you have a lot of the pieces. Trev's boy, Wilson Contreras, Javi Baez,
Best catcher ever.
Javi Baez.
Yogi Berra is the best catcher.
You know what? That's funny. Trev might be a Cubs fan because his favorite player is like Baez. Javi Baez.
No. You know who my favorite player is.
I love Baez.
You know who my favorite player is.
And Addison Russell's coming off his suspension. With that being said, I'll take the Chicago Cubs at number.
Who's 4?
At number 4.
Give me 4.
I'll take the New York Yankees. The New York Yankees at number 4.
Wow.
Yes,
I'm
Joe.
a little surprised.
Joe,
about
you got to think about this. The Yankees, where they're at and where they could be, considering all the disarray.
Oh, I didn't know we were playing the hypothetical power rankings. Just the Yankees are one.
Okay, I'll put it this way.
I changed my whole vote.
You're really going to take the Twins in a 3-game series over the Yankees? Or
yes.
Right now?
Yes.
The Yankees own the Twins, and they will.
We just beat them 2 or 3.
Oh, I watched all the games, but if I was a betting man, if I was in Vegas setting the odds,
you'd be losing.
I would say the Twins were the favorite.
They
team.
would be a plus 220. The Yankees would be a favorite.
Yeah.
Who's your 3rd?
My 3rd? Sorry, bud.
You got to be ready for this.
Is the Los Angeles Dodgers. Is the Los Angeles Dodgers. Just because, listen, I look at them as the best team in the NL. They have been for the last few years. I love what Cody Bellinger's doing. Him and Christian Yelich are lighting it up in ways that we haven't seen before. They're the best team in the division, and they're a team that has so many pieces that they can do so much, not only in trade value, but in guys that have stepped up. Max Muncy, and just they have talent and they have money to spend. So
who's your number 2?
Number 2 is the Houston Astros. There's the Houston Astros, and the number 1, it would be the Rays right now. And that could all change this weekend. But I like the Astros because, listen, they're core pieces, man. When you look at that team, Verlander and Garrett Cole are still dominant forces at the top of the line. That pitching staff. And then Correa, Altuve's, listen.
As soon as I trade Altuve off my fantasy team, believe me, he'll start hitting at a 350 clip, and it's coming.
Yeah, but Altuve, he hits later in the season. He gets hotter and hotter. But Altuve, Correa, Springer, that team is loaded. We know what type of team they are. They're looking to get back to the World Series to win it again. And then the Rays, listen. I put the Rays here because I don't know a single player other than their 2 pitchers, Gassino and Blake Snell. I don't know anyone else on their team. And I look at them and like, they've been dominant.
Wouldn't brag about that.
Yeah, thanks, Ted. Good for you. Let the world know.
Ted's lying. He does know more than he's letting on.
He knows a lot.
He's being hyperbolic.
Who's their starting first baseman?
Anyways, I'm going to go to
who's their starting first baseman? You know, their second, their third, their shortstop? Who's their best player? It's not Longoria no more. He's been
Tommy Pham.
Tommy Pham is actually really good for
He's
them.
really good.
Tommy Pham. Is he on your fantasy team? Is that how you know?
I do. Yes.
Joe, I was really going to throw a hoop and just put the Yankees at number 1. All
right, so for my number 5.
They're really good. I mean, I think the Yankees are closing in. I mean, they're probably 6th or 7th for me. And I'm just trying to be an objective Yankee fan.
If you want to be honest right now, you could put
Sorry,
What did Steve say?
He said defense doesn't matter. I must have been on a baseball subject that we were talking about.
He must be talking about Gary Sanchez, but it does matter. And Gary Sanchez is not a terrible defender.
Hey,
that is a misnomer.
Or Andujar.
I want to get my time.
Could have been talking about Andujar. That also applies. Do your
If
five.
you want to be realistically, you could have 3 teams from the NL Central.
But why
Top
would
5.
you?
Wait, in the NL Central?
No, you
Look at the
can't.
NL Central.
You cannot.
The Cubs,
Stop
the Brewers,
it.
and the Cardinals.
This is
All great teams.
serious, Trevor. You can't. Three National League teams is too much. Let alone 3 from the same division.
You're crazy.
And the Central at that. You're going to argue St. Louis.
Number 5 for me would be the Yankees.
All right. Your list is already improving. Let's hear
Number 4.
I just love what they're doing. I mean, for them to have like a JV lineup, their pitching staff is not really good, but I mean, Tanaka's struggling. He's there. Chapman.
Listen,
their
it don't
bullpen's
matter
up and
who's
down,
pitching. If they're
but
winning,
for
they're
them
winning.
to still be winning the way they are winning, I ain't gonna complain.
Okay, next 4.
Oh, wow. Risser's taking shots at me online.
Oh, no.
He says me being objective. That's not a
So
normal
he's got
thing.
Astros 1, Dodgers 2, Brewers 3,
Oh, he
Cubs
picked the
4.
Astros.
Of
Yankees-
course Risser picked the Astros. Steve Risser is an Astros fan who pretends to be a Yankee fan. I'm on to you, Riss.
We're on to you.
No, so you had 4.
Houston Astros. Okay, I love the Astros, but I don't love them as
Not
much
as much as Steve.
Not as much as Steve.
Number 3.
I mean, they're so talented.
Steve will tell you.
I have to give.
Steve could tell you about the whole team.
This is the thing with Ted. Ted likes to give a whole paragraph. Oh, well, here's my life story. Here's yada yada yada. I was born on this, and then Trev's up. Okay, go to 3. I give no explanation. Don't worry, Ted. I won't give an
Because
explanation.
no one wants to laugh at you. They want to laugh at me.
Because you're a fool. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Birthday boy.
I'll let you,
I'm
I'll
sorry,
let
it's
you
his
go because you
birthday
bought me
boy.
breakfast.
I know, seriously.
I'll let you go because you bought me breakfast
brought
this
him
morning.
breakfast.
Fair enough.
Chick-fil-A, Joe.
Oh, solid.
Number 3, I'll go with the Twins.
Chick-fil-A will sponsor you. Oh, you sponsor us?
I love the Twins too
Twins?
as well. I like the Twins as well too. My boy Jose Barrios. So off to a great start.
And
Cy Young.
they're hitting with power this year.
I picked him to win my Cy Young.
Yes,
and
he
Steve
did.
was like, he's not going to win Cy Young. Hey, Steve.
Wait, so you have the Yankees 5 and the Twins 2.
No, 3.
Oh, 3. But you just questioned me when I said I would
did.
take.
I didn't even put the Twins in the top 5.
You're out of your mind.
No, not at all.
I got the LA
It's a
Dodgers.
joke playing in the.
I got the
AL
LA
Central.
Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers
beat up
are
on all the
Chris
crappy teams.
I mean, Cody Bellinger has
You're
been
not wrong.
dominant. Has been dominant. He's been the best player. If you want him or Yelich.
Did you see
in the
Jansen
NL.
though said he would not mind taking a back seat if the Dodgers wanted to bring in Kimbrel to help out the bullpen?
Good. That's a comforting to see.
Of course he said that. He's on my fantasy team. Why wouldn't he?
He's
It's
only
like
gonna-
when Asdrubal Cabrera took a few days off to become a citizen. Right as he was heating up. Just what I needed.
And the number 1 team is the Tampa Bay Rays.
I can't believe we all put the Rays at 1
Because they're
Do
pitching-
we really look
They
at them?
deserve it.
They do. They
deserve
don't get
it.
because they don't get the credit
I
like
think-
the other teams, like the
I
Dodgers.
think the fact
the
that we
Yankees.
can't name anybody but Tommy Pham is all the proof you need. This team is a lot.
They
like
haven't
the
beaten
Yankees.
anyone though, really.
Hey, well, we'll see.
They're a
the
lot
success
like
this
the
week.
Yankees team, but they've scored a ton more runs. The run differential is incredible. Again, this doesn't seem
Well, if
like
you want to know, Brandon Lowe is their best player right now. He's batting
Brandon Lowe. I was
304,
just
8 home
offered
runs,
him in a trade.
8 home runs, 22 RBIs.
Yeah.
He's having a good year.
Yeah, he's solid.
This will be, like I said, this matchup between the Yankees and Red Sox will really get to
The
see.
Yankees have scored more runs.
We'll really get to see how good each team
more
is.
runs than them.
I want to see how the
In
Yankees.
less games.
I want to see how the Yankees play against this dominant pitching staff, and I want to see how the Rays play against the different lineups that the Yankees are going to throw at them in the next
I was just
3
going to
games.
tell Joe what the difference with the runs.
What's the Yankees' run
The Yankees have
differential?
scored the plus 34. They've scored 187, given up 153. Here's the biggest difference. The Rays have scored 169. They've only given up 110.
Yeah.
Because their pitching staff has been 2.87
I mean,
lights out.
And that's why I
Again.
said it'll be a true test this weekend to see where this Yankee lineup is currently against one of the best.
And you're right, Trev, because to all our points that we have kind of connected with today is the role players and the Yankees and where they're at. Can, like
we'll
you
see
said,
if they get exposed.
Can
we'll see where they're really at,
Gio hit against 2 Cy Young guys? Can Sanchez, who's kind of been struggling this week, can he get back to cracking and popping the ball over the fence? Can we get those guys? Can Frazier get back to where he was before he got hurt his ankle? I think that's going to be a significant play in this weekend.
I think they'll bring it with Tampa. My fear is to let down to Baltimore right after.
Always.
Because, I mean, right, Ted, that always seems to happen. for
After
them.
the Red Sox series,
Yeah.
they lost the game against who was the front end? Was it the White Sox? After the Red Sox, it was the White Sox, right? They lost, and we went and we go, what a awful performance! You just came off of 2 big wins against the Red Sox, and then you put up that type of number against it's. Yep. Hey, listen, I know it's baseball; anything can happen.
Hey, there's still 120 games left, so we're good. Don't worry, it's all good. Yankees will be fine. Big series coming up. I just want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Yeah, Happy Mother's Day.
We should all say Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Mama.
Also, the biggest draft lottery is coming out in the past 20 years. Because if the Knicks get the number 1 pick, it's huge for basketball.
Well, I'll put it this
the
way.
Knicks need the number 1
No, not 20
pick.
years.
Yes.
LeBron James wasn't 20 years ago.
I'm not saying him.
Sorry.
I'm saying past him over
and
him.
I think if we knew...
Nope, I'm saying him because of the factor... It's the New York Knicks that are in the running. New York Knicks are in the running for the number 1 pick.
No one cares about that.
Somehow they're going to end up with the 4th
pick. Yes, they are. They are.
Yes.
That's exactly what's probably going to happen.
Kevin Durant
But it's massive.
Yeah.
It is a massive...
James Dolan.
Also, recap of Game 7. Who will be going to the conference finals? And let's see how those New York Yankees do.
Yeah, we'll be back on Monday.
We will be talking Monday. A lot to talk about. Conference finals, New York Yankees. How do they perform against the Rays? And big announcement coming soon as well from Keys to the City. We are Keys to the City. Everybody have a great weekend. Joe Aguiar, as always, thank you.
Thanks for having me on,
Of course,
fellas.
my friend.
And happy birthday to Ted.
Thanks. Happy belated, bro.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't wish you.
Happy birthday.
I meant to get there.
Couldn't text me. Couldn't message me.
I knew I'd see you face to face. I wanted to hug you and say it
The
right to
host
you.
of the road call, the president of Clovercrest Media. We are Keys to the City from All Noise Radio. We are out.
Yeah. Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, topics, stipulations, first down, played it. Presenting topics for Kanye, easy to Tom Brady. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.